Good morning, YouTube family. It's Ben and Andrea here at VW Family Farm, and we are processing chickens today. It's meat processing day, first day of 2020 for us for meat processing. We actually raised these chickens from Murray McMurray Hatchery, and we raised them to process a few of them at the Shindig to do a tutorial. Ben here was going to do that. Him and Tom at Murray McMurray had that all set up. We were pretty excited about bringing that to you guys, and it just didn't work out. We really struggled with canceling the Shindig, but as it turns out, it would have been taken out of our hands if we'd waited another week. So it was the right decision, but sad nonetheless.
So Tom at Murray McMurray was bringing cones for us to use at the Shindig, and I was going to purchase them and use them here at home also. Well, that didn't happen, and I procrastinated and forgot, did not order them and get them here, so now we're going back to the old style killing cone.
So if you're not familiar, the old style means road cones that we've found in the ditch. We got another new piece of equipment we want to show y'all that's new to us this year for chicken processing. If you're like us, you don't have just tons of cash to just go purchase an entire setup. So I would just recommend to you, get one little piece of equipment at a time. If a plucker is what you want, that's the thing that you think that would make it so much easier, make do with other stuff and save up for a plucker. And then you can add things as the years go by.
And I highly recommend the first thing you buy is going to be a plucker.
For sure.
It saves so much time. I can't say enough about them. They can pluck 2 birds in about 30 to 45 seconds, and there is no possible way anybody on this earth can hand pluck 2 chickens in 30 to 45 seconds.
And they come out looking like a rubber chicken. They're so clean. Now every once in a while, if your water temperature is not exactly correct, you may have a few straggling feathers you have to pluck, but that's when you adjust your water temperature for scalding and you're good to go.
These things save you so much time if you're doing big batches of chickens, where I'm saying big batches, 25, 50,
Yeah.
100, 200. They save you so much time and they're priceless.
And honestly, it just improves the quality of your meat because you're able to keep that skin on. We had some questions on Facebook. We put it out to you guys, what do you want to know about chicken processing? And one of them is, why do y'all pluck them? Why don't you just skin them? Well, I've skinned many a chicken in the past, roosters that got mean or whatever, and when I just want to clean one chicken at a time, yes, I will skin it. But if you're doing all this work to raise a batch of meat chickens, you don't want to skin every single one of them. You're losing all that good healthy fat. You just don't want to do that to every chicken. So it just allows you to pluck them instead of skinning them. All right, this is new to us this year. This is a scalder. We actually got this from Murray McMurray. We're pretty excited about it. We did learn one thing. It doesn't heat up super quick, especially it's a cool and windy day here. We should have started this heating a couple hours ago. So what we're doing is we're letting it heat up some in there, and then we've got the old turkey fryer thing down here with the stand, and we've got a pot so that we've got that going too, because we have a limited amount of time today. We have somewhere to be later this afternoon. But lesson learned, we should have turned that on earlier, and we're gonna have to configure some sort of a lid for it. But all in all, it's gonna be really helpful to us when we figure it out and get that going. All right, couple of things you need no matter how you're going about this. You need a bucket for scraps, like for guts and things you're going to dispose of, and then we keep a smaller bucket for the livers and things for laying to fish with. You can keep those and eat them. Of course, you'd want a much cleaner bucket, but you're going to need that. You're going to need a good workspace. I've got my knives here because I'm the one who does the cleaning and gutting. You're going to have a little hatchet, and I've got a board because you're going to have somewhere to chop off the feet and the head once you start cleaning it. And then we have this sink here to wash them off, but many times before we found this sink, I used just a water hose to clean out the cavity after I had gutted them. We are mainly raising these for ourselves. We sell a few extras to locals. We haven't done that in a bit because we haven't had any extras, but we don't ever make them get to a certain weight when we're feeding them out. We kind of go by weeks, and we kind of know how much to feed them throughout the process. Like by the end of this process, I was feeding every day, every bird, half a pound of feed. There was 50 birds in there. I was feeding 25 pounds and they were growing good and steady. And then we just come out here. We have to pick a day that's convenient for us to process. And so if we wouldn't have done it today, it'd have been a whole nother week. And so that's what we have to base it on, is are they good and big enough today, or do they need a whole nother week of growth, which means a whole nother week of feed and things like that. And will the weather cooperate next week, and will our schedule cooperate, and all those things. So it's just going to be different for every person. And then we've come out with birds that were anywhere from 4 pounds clean to 6 pounds cleaned. So it just depends on the year and how things work out. We like to lean more towards that at least 5 pound clean chicken. Sometimes I like the 6 pounders because they're really big and they make several meals for us. So that's how we do it.
All right, we were asked how we do our process. We all 4 are involved in it. I always get the luxury of catching the chickens and dispatching them. Then I go from there to scalding. As the first batch is dispatching, I scald the next ones. I give them to Lane. He gets to run the fun plucker. He drops them in there, and as they're spinning, he's using this to lightly spray to keep them moist in there, keep water rinsing all the feathers out. Then it goes to Andrea. She's over here at the cleaning table. She takes the head and the feet and the guts off and out. And then it'll go to Emily, and she's over here at the kitchen sink. Outdoor kitchen sink, yes. She comes over here, makes sure all the lungs, all the trachea and everything is out of it. She comes out of here and puts them in the ice chest on ice, and then we're going to leave them sitting on ice.
So we're actually going to leave them on ice a couple days, and then we're going to drain them real good before we package them. That will just help that meat to not be tough. Let that meat start to relax just a little bit, and it just makes for better meat. Then after a couple days, we're going to package them. We've actually purchased shrink wrap bags before and packaged them just like they do at the store, labeled them and everything when we were selling them. But right now I don't have any of those, and with all that's going on, I'm not going to order any. So we will just be putting them in good old-fashioned Ziploc bags. And depending on how big your bird is, we've had them so big they wouldn't fit in the gallons, but I think these will today. But that's what we're going to be doing. So we are about to get busy, and we will try to give you a few tips and tricks along the way.
All right, when you go to scalding your birds, you want your water to be at 145 degrees, and you want to dip them for about 45 seconds. Now when you do that, I've got these insulated cooking gloves, but they're designated just for this, so I can get my hand down in the scalding water and move them around. But I've also got a lid that I use that I push down in there to keep the chicken totally underwater. You turn it on its side and move it back and forth. You can grab them by the legs, shake them around, but you definitely want to keep moving them around inside that scalding water. Now, one problem you get is making sure your water is exactly 145 degrees. You got this little thing, and you're kind of guessing. You got digital thermometers. I've got a temperature gun, infrared, and you can shoot it. All right, I'm at 159, 161. What do you do in that instance? Of course, you can turn your heat down. But who wants to wait for that to cool off? Quick and easy way to do it. Just get your water hose and just add just a little bit of cold water to it. If I can get it on. Twist it the right way. Put that water in there, slosh it around, get it all mixed up. Because you're always losing water when you're scalding your birds. 154, I need to cool it down a little more. You definitely don't want to cook your birds. $151.
Perfect.
All right, so when you go to dipping your birds, like I said, you just put them down in there. May got close to a little bit of too much water. You want to time them for 45 seconds. Lane has got just got his smartphone set for 45-second timer. Keep them submerged in there. Even these, they will get hot in there. But you can do the lid. Like I said, you can grab them by the feet and you can just keep pushing them down in there. But you want to move them around so that that water gets in all the feathers. Alright, then after that, lane's set up. I think he was twisting it the wrong way too.
Tried to do that.
And yes, our timer's still going off. But there is the chickens when they come out. They just look like a rubber chicken.
All right, so y'all wanted some tips and tricks on how we do this. So the gutting and cleaning has always been my job, and so I've gotten better at it over time and things have gotten easier, and I just wanted to share with y'all how I do it. Everybody does it a little bit differently, but the first thing I do, so this chicken is ready, we have just a little block and a hatchet, and I'll just go ahead and take the head off. And then if you want to save that for something, you'll need a bucket to do that in. And then I will take the feet off here at this joint, so you'll just work your knife around. You're not actually having to cut through bone or cartilage. It just comes off real nice, just like you get at the store. No sharp points or anything because you just took it apart at the joint. Then you can actually take these and take them inside and clean them up. That's for another day, but you actually can take this outer layer off and you won't have anything on the foot that has actually ever been on the ground. And then that's what people will boil for in their bone broth and for good gelatin and collagen and things like that. So if you want to save those, you can. So what I do is I make a slit right here below the breastbone. Usually I go in like this, but you have to be very careful. You could go out like that if you're uncomfortable, because you don't want to nick the guts at this point. So if you can just get a little slit, you can do the rest with your hand. So I just grab and pull and separate that. So now it's all right there what you're wanting to take out. So this gets messy. You're just gonna have to be okay with getting dirty. You gotta just stick your hand up in there, and I just work all the guts out at one time. All right, so I'm just pulling gently. So this is like the craw. It's attached way up in there. I don't know, Lane, if you can show them. So that's attached way up in there at the throat. That's where the craw is, and the gizzard. And so a lot of people will slit up here and try to pull it out, but I just do all of this at once. I'm just a simple gal. So I just pull gentle pressure, and this is why you want to take their food away at least 12 hours before you're going to process her. This is all going to be full of food. So you just pull and work it. It will just come right out, and with that it pulls loose this trachea, and when that comes loose, this trachea just comes right loose, and I just pull it out too. So the last thing I do, I've got the guts all laying out here. I'm going to show you on this other chicken, but this is a gland you want to remove. So if I'm doing it just for us here at home, I just cut that whole tail off. I don't even mess with trying to remove the gland. But if you wanted to remove just the gland, say you're selling it and you need every ounce of meat on this chicken you can just slit, and then you're just going to slit very gently, and you've removed that gland. But for the sake of time and simplicity, here's what I do. I just go in here and slit up on this fat right here, and then I do the same thing on the other side. And I cut up, and then now I've got a little horseshoe shape there, and I just cut all this out, and I cut this tail off all at the same time, and then I take whatever of these innards off that I want. Like, we definitely want the liver off of there. Beware, you never want to cut into that gallbladder. It's full of green bile, but it will remove pretty easily from the liver. You can save that. And then Emily washes it, and that is how we do it.
All right, we are wrapping this up. Andrea and Emily are finishing the last few birds. Me and Lane got our part done. We've washed everything up. Now we gotta go put it all up. All in all, that process took us about 3 hours to do 54 chickens. And that's gonna supply us the meat for the year. Be watching for more videos on cutting up the chickens, how to use the chicken feet and different parts of the bird for broth. and we will show y'all also how to cut them up, package them, and all that good stuff. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. I hope y'all learned a lot. Maybe we gave you a little bit of information that you didn't already know. So there's nothing to be scared of on your chicken processing. If you're interested in doing it, whether you pluck them, whether you skin them, you just got to get your hands in there and get them dirty. It's part of the game knowing where your food comes from. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. Till next time, God bless.
And honestly, it just, bleh.
Yeah.
Okay, wipe your nose. Cut.